Hello Friends movie starts with the scene beneath the Earth's surface lives a cabal of ancient giant divine creatures. The only thing that prevents them from rising and destroying our societies is regular human sacrifice. It is revealed that several secret laboratories have been established around the world to carry out this process. They find and sacrifice hundreds of young people every month to appease these divine beings. Surprised by the news, they assure Lynn that they will not mess it up elsewhere. On a nearby university campus, Dana is packing her bag for an upcoming weekend trip. She is soon joined by her two close friends Jules and her boyfriend Kurt. The trio loads their luggage into an RV. After a while they are joined by other members of the group. Marty the stoner and Holden, a transfer student. Kurt takes the wheel and they head to his cousin's cabin in a nearby forest. None of these students know that they are about to be the next group of human sacrifices. Suddenly appears and drags him back into the cabin. Kurt tells the group that Jules is dead and that they must start boarding up all the doors and windows. Confused, Dana refuses to comply and opens the door to look for her friend. But this turns out to be a bad decision. She comes face to face with a horrible sight. John Buckner's zombie is standing on the porch and throws Jules's severed head. Dana screams in horror as the guys somehow manage to close the door. Kurt then tells them that no matter what, they must stay together, but the engineers release a gas and he suddenly changes his mind. He tells the group they should split up to cover more ground. Shortly after, a zombie breaks down the front door, forcing the group to separate and hide in their individual rooms. The engineers press another button that automatically locks all the doors. While back to the RV, they then have a tense conversation during which Dana claims that Marty was right all along. Someone is watching and controlling their every move. They will never escape unless they find a way to discover who is behind all this. Unfortunately for them, one of the corpses appears inside the RV. It stabs Holden in the throat with a sharp rod, killing him on the spot. A petrified Dana screams as the RV goes out of control and crashes into a nearby lake. As the vehicle sinks deeper into the water, the zombie tries to grab Dana's leg, but she desperately kicks it in the face and somehow manages to swim to the surface. Back at the lab, all the employees begin to celebrate with cheers. It turns out that 4 sacrifices are enough to appease the gods. The death of the virgin, in this case Dana, is optional. It doesn't matter if she lives or dies as long as she suffers at the hands of the monsters. Meanwhile, Dana crawls to the shore of the lake and realizes all her friends are dead, but her struggles are far from over. The zombie that had attacked her in the RV emerges from the lake and walks towards her. As she lies on her back exhausted, it begins to strangle her. On the other hand, Gary approaches the demolition team and jokes about how close they came to failing the mission, but the team insists they never received his orders because there was a power failure in their system. It's clear that someone has sabotaged the hidden cables in the killing field. Suddenly the phone in the control room starts to ring. Steve answers it. It's the lab's director, and she has bad news. It turns out one of the students besides Dana is still alive, and the ritual has not been completed. Meanwhile, Dana is about to be stabbed, but the zombie suddenly collapses behind her. It turns out it was the work of Marty, who miraculously managed to survive. "I'm alive," he tells her. The two flee, and Marty leads her inside one of the graves. To Dana's total surprise, she sees that the grave is actually the entrance to a huge tunnel. The dismembered remains of one of the nearby zombies are also there. It's revealed that Marty somehow managed to kill the zombie and hide in the tunnel monster that had dragged him to the grave. He was also the one who caused the power failure mentioned by the demolition team. After this, Marty shows Dana an elevator he discovered under the grave. It is now obvious to both of them that someone sent those zombies after them. If they want to escape, the only way is down. So they jump into the elevator along with the zombie's severed arm. Within minutes, the elevator takes them deep into a vast network of dungeons. The two friends soon find themselves face to face with various types of monsters locked in glass cages. Seeing them, Dana suddenly realizes a heartbreaking truth. The people behind all this made them choose what kind of monster they would face. She had unknowingly chosen the zombies by picking up the diary, causing the deaths of her friends. At least she didn't pick the merman. Meanwhile, in the control room, Gary sends a security guard to the elevator. He wants to eliminate Marty so the ritual can be completed. Sometime later, the elevator doors open and the guard comes face to face with the two survivors. By a stroke of luck, the zombie's arm grabs the guard's legs, distracting him. The duo takes this opportunity to eliminate him and take his gun, along with a nearby dagger. They then escape the area and quickly find themselves in a hallway with many doors. Suddenly, a woman begins to speak to them over the speaker system, telling them to surrender and let themselves be sacrificed. However, the survivors hide in one of the operator rooms just before a squad of guards begins to shoot at them. Dana notices a control system nearby and presses a big red button. This causes all the doors in the hallway to open, releasing an army of monsters. The entire squad of guards is immediately annihilated by various demons who are now free to roam the laboratory. On the other hand, Gary, Steve, and Lynn have locked themselves in the main control room. Their defenses have been overridden, and there is no other way out. Dana and Marty quickly exit the operator room and escape through a hole in the hallway. Heading back towards the control room, the monsters manage to break down the steel door. Steve does his best to hold them at bay with his machine gun. Meanwhile, Gary enters the code for the escape hatch that leads to the ground floor. Unfortunately for them, an explosion occurs in the control room, throwing Steve through the air. A horrible fish-like monster approaches him and devours him alive. Fortunately, Gary manages to open the hatch and escapes just in time. He runs through a dark hallway but doesn't get very far. He runs into Dana, who stabs him in the chest with a dagger. Then this know-it-all hands her the gun and they both venture deeper into the tunnel. The duo soon finds themselves inside a chamber surrounded by 5 stone tombs. It is then that the lab's director reveals herself and finally tells them the truth. If the sacrifice is not completed, the gods who rule the earth will rise again and wreak havoc. She informs them that the sun will rise in 8 minutes and that if Dana wants to save the rest of humanity, she must kill Marty. Completely shaken by this revelation, Dana raises the gun at her friend. Marty can only watch in disbelief as he realizes what she's about to do, but before Dana can pull the trigger, a werewolf lunges from the shadows and bites her in the neck. She recoils in pain and falls near the director. Marty and the director then fight for control of the gun. After an intense struggle, Marty manages to grab it and fires several times at the werewolf, forcing it to flee. Whimpering, Dana also manages to survive the attack. Marty then turns his attention to the director and pushes her into the furious depths that open up beneath the chamber. Unfortunately, all these heroic acts mean nothing as the ritual has failed. The two friends sit down and share one last cigarette. Together, the film ends as a giant hand emerges from the depths and destroys the laboratory. If you want interesting movie recaps, like, share and subscribe to follow us for more movie recaps.